Good morning, everybody. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science here in New York City. Whether you're joining us today on Zoom, as most of you are, or listening to us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, or X, we're grateful to see everybody here. We meet here 3 times a week, Wednesday evenings for our creative living class, facilitated by Jimmy. Our long-standing Louise Hay class, self-healing class, every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Or here on Sunday mornings. We have the same Zoom link for each of these 3 broadcasts, so keep the link. We have an e-letter filled with spiritual gems. Be sure to send us your contact information in the chat or through our social media. Do it privately, and then we can be sure to keep you up to date on everything we do. At the end of every session, we turn our microphones on for a couple minutes for everyone to share their demonstrations, their thoughts, or whatever is on their mind. This is usually a very large Zoom call, but there is time for everyone to share for a couple minutes. Every one of our broadcasts are offered on a love offering basis. And what that means is that there is no charge. For those who want to support our work at First Church, there's always an option in the chat room so you can support us or make donations. Anything that anyone does is greatly appreciated. So please do if you can. Today, I'd like to start out with a powerful statement. You have a mastermind within you. You usually hear me saying there is this divine activity within you. But for today, I'm going to start out with, you have a mastermind within you. Yes, each of you possess a unique brilliance that's waiting to be fully expressed. Imagine if you could tap into this inner mastermind that you possess. Imagine you tapping in and realizing that you have access to all the wisdom, all the creativity, and all the solutions you ever will need. Well, in fact, you do have that. So in our journey today, on our New Thought journey, we understand that creative intelligence, all the creative intelligence of the universe, flows through us. This means that the same source that creates stars and orchestrates the symphony of life itself is the source of your ideas, your dreams, and your capabilities. So let's embrace this truth together, and let's know you are a visionary. Yes, you are a visionary. You see possibilities where other people see limitations. I'm talking those of you in this teaching. You're a visionary. You see possibilities where other people see limitations. You are an innovator. Your creativity shapes reality and brings forth remarkable changes. Yes, you who are working this teaching are an innovator. Your creativity shapes new realities and brings forth remarkable changes. And you, yes, you are a sage. The wisdom you need is already within you, guiding your steps. So that's for all of you who are living the affirmative life that we talk about. You may not think of yourself as a visionary, a person who's seeing possibilities, but you are. You may not think of yourself as an innovator with your creativity that's shaping reality, but you are. You may not think of yourself as a person who's a sage, accessing wisdom that you need, but you are. So today's talk will inspire you, hopefully, how to unlock and harness this inner, call it a mastermind for today, this inner genius. So we'll go into the principles of religious science that empower us to access our innate potential. Together, we'll learn practical tools to cultivate this mastermind in our daily lives. And so we can let it shine brightly for the world to see. We don't want to be hiding our light under a bushel. Each of us is a point of awareness within creative intelligence, or each of us is a point of love within the mind of God, a point of awareness within creative intelligence. There's unlimited knowledge available to you. You are, in fact, unlimited. That was Raymond Charles Barker's words. There's unlimited knowledge available to you. You are unlimited. You've come into this world to express life and to express life abundantly. Now, maybe you're not aware of this yet. Maybe you don't fully understand it, but please stay with me. You're eventually going to understand all of this. If not today, soon, if you keep tuning in. Maybe you feel as though you're in bondage of one kind or another. Most of us in our lives have felt that way at one point in time or another. We're not born in, we're here to be free. Suffering is not God ordained. You know, much of the suffering that we experience, that we bring upon ourselves. So I want to go back in time to the story, many centuries to the time of Moses in Egypt, where he was trying to lead his people out of bondage. You might recall that his people were captive in Egypt, and he went to the Pharaoh, invoking the presence of the God of Israel by saying in prayer, and then, "Let my people go." And the Pharaoh asked Moses, "Who is this Lord that I, the Pharaoh of Egypt, should obey and let you all free?" The Pharaoh was not willing to yield to Moses' request. Today, centuries later, there is no Pharaoh, there's no emperor, no dictator, no king, no queen, nor queen on a throne keeping us in bondage. Bondage, like suffering, is not mandated by any higher power. So the suffering, you know, when I was a kid, you know, God would send plagues, God would send this, God would send that. And as we get into religious science, we've let go of all that. So the suffering, the bondage, and all that's not mandated by any higher power. If I'm suffering, if you're suffering, or if we're in bondage, if we're hurting, there is not so much something to do as there is something to realize. The great seers of all time and the prophets knew the secret. Buddha once taught, "Look within, thou art the Buddha." So when you're looking for the answers to problems, Buddha taught, "Look within, you are the Buddha." This profound insight reveals that enlightenment and liberation come always from within, not from external forces, not from anything or anyone up in the skies. In a similar way, Ralph Waldo Emerson, a great philosopher, transcendentalist, declared, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." Emerson's words remind us that our true power resides within our own being, our inner being. I believe it was Jesus who said, "The Father and I are one." We are one with it. We are individualizations of it, sons, daughters of it. However you might want to think about it, sons, daughters, offshoots of it, lights of the one light. We often hear people saying that we're made in the image and likeness, and that we are creators of our own experience. We have free will. We're free to decide in a world that responds to us. That's very exciting. We are free to decide in a world that responds to us. But what does it really mean to be made in the image and likeness of this creative intelligence? It does not mean that we resemble an anthropomorphic God sitting on a throne in the sky. Instead, it signifies that we are expressions of the same creative power and intelligence that forms the universe. Being made in its image means we have the same potential for creativity, same potential for love, wisdom, and innovation. It's all within us. Just as a wave is an expression of the ocean, we are expressions of this infinite intelligence. We are imbued with the capacity to create our own experiences. We're imbued with the ability to manifest our own desires, and we're imbued with the ability to shape our reality. The likeness is not about physical form, but about our spiritual essence and our capabilities. It's about recognizing that the spark of divinity resides within us, empowering us to live abundantly, joyfully, and freely. As the mystic Julian of Norwich beautifully expressed, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." I'll let you think about that. I'll say it again. This is the mystic Julian. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This timeless wisdom reassures us that in the grand design of the universe, all is in divine order, and we are integral parts of this harmonious whole. As our own Louise Hay reminds us, I trust in the process of life. I'm always in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. This particular affirmation suggests that we're always in the perfect place, perfect time, aligned with the divine flow of life. It can be no other way. So let's go into a little bit deeper into Emerson's profound insight when he says, the universe is the externalization of the soul. I haven't seen that in a long time. The universe is the externalization of the soul. What does this mean? It suggests that the universe is a reflection of our inner state. See, our inner state is very important. Again, Emerson is suggesting that the universe itself is a reflection of our inner state. Just as a beautiful garden reflects the care and the creativity of the gardener, our external world mirrors the thoughts, the feelings, and the beliefs that we hold within us. When we cultivate a soul filled with love, peace, and creativity, our outer experiences naturally align with these qualities. Think of it this way. If you live with positive expectancy, you will notice opportunities all the time. You will notice beauty, and you'll see the harmony all around you. If you live with positive expectancy, if you live the affirmative life that we talk about, you will notice opportunities, beauty, and harmony all around you. Conversely, if your inner world is cluttered with negativity and fear, your outer world will often reflect those same challenges. Emerson's statement invites us to recognize our power as co-creators of our reality. By nurturing our inner life and our inner dialogue with positive affirmations of gratitude and love, we contribute to a harmonious and thriving universe. The universe, in turn, responds to the vibrancy of our soul's expression. We are cause to our own experience. Again, we are cause to our own experience. You've heard me say many times, as within, so without. Whatever is living inside eventually shows up in your life, much like a mirror. So our teaching isn't about seeking validation or external recognition. It's about discovering the hidden genius within ourselves. It's surely there. We have no time. We come to earth for a relatively brief period of time. We have no time for false modesty or hiding our light. We're here to shine. So we want to make today count more. Every day is important, so we want to seize the day. We want to wake up with more aliveness, wake up more actively, realizing that there's power here, there's presence, and we can use it. Each of us have gifts and tremendous power at our disposal, though many do not realize it or have forgotten about it. We in our community at First Church are committed to reminding you of this great truth. We're here to support one another and uplift each other. I recall a question from another lesson that's appropriate. It's a class I taught a couple years ago. Who have you come here to be? So reflect on that for today a little bit. Who have you come here to be? It's a fairly deep question. What have you come here to express? So think about that for a second. Who have you come here to be? And what have you come here to express? There was a time in most of our lives when we were excited about something, about different things. Maybe when you were younger or different points in your life, there was an excitement. You knew you were onto something, and there's something you wanted to do or wanted to create or be a part of. Maybe it's time now to rekindle it, or rekindle something that possibly you've set aside. Maybe there's something you're aware of that you've been putting off for a while, for too long. Is there something that comes to mind today that you're wanting to do or wanting to express or longing to express? Might be something to do with a person or an occupation or a hobby. You have genius inside of you. And you might be thinking, genius, are you kidding me? I mentioned that in another class, but the fact is you do. You have spirit within you. You have the totality. You are the whole bit. And all of it's, deep at the center of your being, there is this active presence. So you have genius within you that you can draw upon. I mentioned recently that people who live the affirmative life are an uncommon bunch. If you are in this teaching for a while and you're really practicing it, you could be considered a rare bird because you see life much differently than most people do. You're developing the courage to listen to your inner knowing if you're practicing this teaching. What you're doing and the way you're living your life, the way you're approaching your life is really the road that's less traveled. You may not always be understood. This thing called life is a great adventure. It will help, of course, to be around like-minded people that's why we come together, who at least will have an inkling of the path that you've dedicated yourself to. I have two Emerson quotes that apply today. And here is the first. To be great is to be misunderstood. If you've made it here to this teaching and you're understanding these lessons, to be great is to be misunderstood. This community will understand you. They will get you. So welcome. We do understand you and we get that you're great where other people might not understand it. People who are in the rat race often won't get you. They're too busy. It's very, very difficult for them to be in the moment. It's difficult sometimes for us to be in the moment too. To be here now, to be present in this moment, to have a new moment where you can take a pause and to connect with Source. To be here now is not easy always, especially in the beginning. It requires you just keep coming back and starting again. Be still, know that I am God, and be here now. But we keep doing it. We stay at it. Wherever we are, we begin wherever we are. And we'll do it one thought at a time. We'll start our day over many times. We just come back to the center, deep at the center of our being. There's this infinite presence. In all of our gatherings, we remind you week after week that you are supplied and supported. People might not understand what you know, so it's good to come here because we do understand. Isn't it great to be able to connect with others that are on a similar path? I know it is. I'm sure many of you realize it too. We celebrate that spirit in you is yearning to express itself. That spirit in you, it's genius. It's yearning to express itself in its own way. It's certainly there. Emerson said this in so many words. He said, genius usually finds itself a century too early. That's a beautiful idea. Genius usually finds itself a century too early. If you're thinking or you have thought in your life, people don't really understand me or don't get me, you're in good company. There's many people who are here who would have similar thoughts. So welcome to the club. Real practitioners, meaning people who really practice this teaching. Truth students are what I'll call rare birds. I've always known a handful of them at every time in my life, people really who are living the affirmative life. It's very difficult to get them off center because they're centered. They know they've been at this teaching. They develop a consciousness where they live, move, and they have their being in this divine activity. They know it, they sense it, they feel it. So if you're new to the center, you're new to the church, and you don't feel like people in your life understand you, please release the need to be understood. Let all of that go. Think of yourself today as being on the crest of a wave. Think of yourself in the ocean. There's crests of waves. Think of yourself as the top. You're on top of one of these waves and you can see so much like others at the crests of the wave. Yet you're part of the ocean. We release the need to be understood, and we let go. We are one with the one. We are grateful that we can see what we can see, and we can see a lot. And we're grateful that we have this consciousness of oneness, connection, and unity with Source, this consciousness of love. We are about connection in this teaching. We realize that we're connected to everyone, everything, everywhere. We realize there is no outside of us. We realize in truth, there's nothing outside of us. So we always go for connection, and we're always willing to clean up our side of the street. We release the need to hold grudges or to be in separation. Sometimes when we're dealing with people in our jobs and our day-to-day living, it could be a challenge. You can try to compensate for not being understood by attempting to explain yourself in different ways. Sometimes this will help. Sometimes people won't be interested or won't be interested in what you're saying right away. So we release the need to be understood and we let go. I have a brother who was always telling me that I was saying everything to him 3 different ways. And it's probably true because I'm a communicator for the most part, and I'm gonna try to get people to see something one way or another. So I go for communication, knowing that there's a lot of challenges in the communication process because people hear what they hear and they hear what they think you're saying. So there are some things you can do. You can restate what you're saying in a different way. You can ask someone, would you please say back to me what I just said to you, so you can check it out to see if they actually heard you. You can do active listening. In the end, though, many people are rather stuck in their own opinions, and they still may not hear you. So that can be a challenge. But here in this talk, this lesson, we release the need to be understood, and we let go. I make an attempt, but in the end, we're doing the best we can, all of us. Finding your genius and your purpose and who you have come here to be, so you can be that person, is your real task. You're here to love yourself and find your genius, your purpose. Find out what you're here to do, what you're here to express. Thinking back on Rev Wade Emerson, who I go back to time and time again since I was about 20, people weren't ready for him. They weren't ready for the heart or the mind of Rev Wade Emerson when he was speaking and writing well over 100 years ago. Many aren't ready for what he had to say even now. It's been said, a few from every age discover his mind, discover his wisdom. To do so is to discover your wisdom and your genius, because that's what he was talking about. We each exist and have come into the world so the divine spark, the fire, its impulse, its creativity may be consciously expressed through us. I'll say that again. We each exist and we each have come into the world so the divine spark, the fire, its impulse, its creativity may consciously express through us. It isn't something that is to be limited. The cry of Moses, let my people go and express in freedom, is a universal one, a universal cry. We are each uniquely poised to express our special gifts, our talents, and our strengths that only we can. What's your gift? What is your unique gift and your genius? There's many people on the call today. Jimmy, Andrew, Celia, what is your gift? I'm sure many of you will be telling us when we do our sharing. Whatever it is, it's the call of life itself. There's something within most of us that's yearning to express itself in new, fresh ways through you. So think about that. What's your gift, or what are one of your gifts? Maybe you have many gifts to share. We are tasked with answering the call and letting go of limitations. We're tasked with releasing the I can'ts and all of our excuses. I remember Louise having a tour. It was the I Can Do It tour, because we can do much. When we're doing an inventory and when we're looking deeply within, we make the greatest discovery of time. It's exhilarating, it's exciting, it's the road to freedom, and words can't quite describe it. Ernest Holmes attempted when he wrote, "The scientists find an energy concealed in the atom that is mind-blowing." Holmes is trying to say there is that thing, an energy concealed in the atom that's mind-blowing. It's almost beyond understanding. And so it is with you and me. There's an energy, a spiritual genius in you, giving you knowledge that there is no accounting for. It's intuitive knowledge. We lie, Emerson said, in the lap of infinite intelligence. We, you and I, are receivers of truth and instruments of its activities. So think of yourself as a receiver of its truth. Think of yourself as an instrument of its activity. When we know and feel there is justice and perfection in life, when we're open to new moments, we will see it appear. Again, when we know and feel that there is justice and perfection in life, when we know it, when we're open to these new moments, we will see them appear. We'll drop all the old hurts, the grievances, the opinions, and our stories, and we will see and discern the truth. As we clear the way for love and light, as we do the work in consciousness, we allow an avenue for it to come more fully into expression through us. And then it shows up in our outer world. What's your dharma? Dharma meaning sacred work. What's your sacred work? It's going to be different for everybody. Almost anything can be thought of as sacred work. Be working with a child, you can be working, it could be anything. So what is your sacred work? There is something within each and every one of us, again, a divine spark, an urge that's waiting to be birthed, unleashed, let loose, expressed. It can make your heart sing. It can bring a certain joy into form. Sometimes we're restless when we're not living this affirmative life and we feel disconnected. We know there ought to be something. So there's that thing within you that's urging you and tempting you to get on track. We're each called to live a holy, fulfilling life, and we're most happy when we're making the corrections that are needed so we can move in the direction of this call. I was told years ago in one of the classes, we are in the express business. We're here to express life and to express life abundantly, joyfully. We're here to fully express our own gifts and our talents. Transformation requires stepping out of our comfort zone. The question for this morning, are you willing? Are you willing to go to any lengths? Are you willing to trade in the lesser self-concepts, the self-criticism, the guilt, and the shame? Are you willing to trade all that in for greater ideas like compassion, self-acceptance, and self-approval? Having a bit of a metaphysical background and being in a recovery program too, I'm very familiar with the idea of inventories and journal writing as spiritual tools. Inventories can pull us out of denial. I can show you in a class or a session how to do a simple yet powerful inventory, or I can help you or direct you where you can do one at a greater depth. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we begin right now, wherever we are. Let's assess where we are. Let's have an inventory. And we don't do this as a means to criticize ourselves. It's just to bring forth more self-awareness. So when we do this, we're preparing for a journey of self-discovery where we discover that there's power available that's restorative and that will make us whole. We will partner with this power and know that it responds to us as we believe. We're going to come to know freedom and happiness. In ancient Greece, at Delphi, the temple wall, there's life-altering advice inscribed with the powerful phrase, know thyself. If you really know yourself, it will be life-changing. If you get a leg up on your stories and your history, you can end denial. You can change it. It will change you. So people can operate in denial. They just not seeing themselves correctly, and they have a story and it circles and it circles. And it's good to dust off those stories and take another look at them. The old ideas, the belief systems, right? Denial is a tough one. Emerson said of people who are living in denial. What you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear a word you say. So we want to be open, and we want to release the things that are not working for us. An inventory can help you stay out of denial and identify negative thoughts, emotions, and actions that have ruled our lives up till now. An inventory can also remind us of our gifts, our genius. In the past, many have justified themselves, many have blamed other people, places, or things when they find themselves, you blame other people for where you are in your life. And that's a mistake, right? We discover when we journal, when we do inventories, we do our shadow work, that things are going on in us that sometimes are working against us. So we intend to let any of those negative patterns go so we can express life in a much freer way. As I said before, willingness is the key. Every great spiritual genius has taught us this in one way or another about having willingness to change. If you have possessions which possess you, it's better for you to lose them, that you may understand their temporary, fleeting form. No great spiritual teacher has denied the importance of using possessions wisely. As Emerson says in the essay Compensation, the benefit we receive must be given back, though, line for line, deed for deed, cent for cent, to somebody. So beware of holding on to your good for too long. He was really talking about putting things in circulation. He actually said, beware of holding on to too much good for long. It will quickly spoil. He said, pay it away quickly in some way, in some sort. The key is to keep things circulating. I was recently talking to one of my sisters, it was last year actually, and I was trying to clear out some of the stuff in my house, heirlooms, things that I have that I'm never going to use. And she commented that her house is overflowing with so much stuff, and we all have a lot of things. And she had no place for anything new. So I reminded her of a prosperity story we learned from our parents. You've heard me share this one before, I'm sure. The story of my father calling me several times a month to see if I wanted anything, whatever my mother was putting into circulation. I reminded my sister that whenever we visited our parents, all the closets were half empty, all organized, always had room. My father, who left to his own devices, would have kept everything. He had a little bit of this pack rat type of consciousness. And my sister laughed, saying it was true. She had forgotten about it as well. What's the lesson? Well, the lessons are many. For one thing, give, give, give. Repurpose things, share them. If you're not using them, repurpose them, share them. I have a lot of things to give, and I've been giving a lot of things. And repurpose, share. Life loves a giver. That's one of the things I've learned in religious science a generation ago. Life loves a giver. Open yourself up to greater good. The more you give, the more you receive. Life is also very brief. Be careful of staying with something just because you've been doing it forever. So we want to explore. We want to be free in new moments. We don't want to have our possessions possessing us. There is something called a zone of excellence, and it can be a trap. Maybe your calling is to be a great baker or a great teacher of some kind. Trust what the universe is guiding you to see. If there's something that's pulling at you for you to explore, explore it. There are activities that will move you towards sharing your talents that will better serve your Dharma. This law of mind that we have is our access to the original creative genius of the universe, and it has no intention for us other than the intention that we give it. It responds to us at our own level of acceptance. This week, we contemplate in this lesson our genius and who we have come here to be. We drop all of our I can'ts, we drop our defenses, and we move into our own place of genius. Some of you have gotten to a place where you can do all the things that keep you employed, getting by, busy, but you're not fulfilled. People justify why they can't take a big leap forward in the direction of their joy. Maybe they're still in survival mode. They're not trusting in the process of life. They might be saying, if it weren't for so-and-so, I would be doing this, or I would be doing what I wanted to. In your zone of genius, you don't feel like you're working. See, if you get to this place in your life where you're just doing things and you're in connection, in this zone of genius, you don't feel like you're working. Time feels completely different. You are in your life's work and you're contributing, you're calling to the world. See, that spirit is in every living thing. It's in every soul, latent, simply waiting to be brought forth and come through the avenue we express. It is to bring out these greater realities of life and happiness, health, love, and power, to supply these things that make life worthwhile. You exist so that divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. That's a wonderful statement. You exist so that divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. Spirit comes to you with new and fresh creativity. You need not ask what others have done or how they have done it. Be yourself and express life as you find it. Never imitate. Trust yourself. Find the self in God and God in the self. The goal in life is not to attain some imaginary ideal. It's to connect with life, to find and use your own gifts. The insistent and universal desire for self-expression is the divine urge within us. Even God itself is tapping at the walls of our heart, urging us on to the fuller life. Today, I answer the call to discover, to liberate, and to express my divine genius. This is the divine urge within each of us, a sacred calling. It beckons us increasingly with increasingly strong calls as we go through life. Commit yourself to uncover and connect with your genius. Commit to taking a deeper leap out of your comfort zone and taking the road less traveled. You will be supplied and supported. Today we have journeyed through the understanding that each and every one of us has a mastermind within. Each of us have a unique brilliance waiting to be expressed. We've explored, to some degree, the depths of our inner wisdom, creativity, and potential, recognizing that we are indeed creators of our own experiences. As we bring this lesson to a close, let's hold on to the powerful truth, the truths that we've uncovered. We are visionaries. We are innovative. We are wise. We are capable of profound transformation and boundless creativity. We're here, every one of us, to shine, to express our divine genius, and to live fully in our zone of excellence. Now, I'd love to hear from you. This is a time for you to share your thoughts, your demonstrations, your aha moments, anything you've manifested or what's come to you as a result of living the affirmative life. Please feel free to say hello, share what's on your mind. Just say, if you're new, you're new. Whether it's a demonstration, a realization, or simply a welcome hello. Thanks for being part of our vibrant community, your voice, your willingness to grow with us, and sharing your light with all of us. So now I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Let's celebrate our shared journey and the incredible power within each of us. And so it is.